And once again, we are back at the Jefferson College Fieldhouse for the Jeffco Sports Report on 1400 KJFF. I'm Ryan Reinheimer. Joining us at this time is Sam Carroll, the baseball coach here at Jefferson College. And Coach, so far you haven't had the good weather I'm sure you were hoping to get outside. You got those full-blown practices going, and unfortunately you've spent most of it indoors, right?
Yeah, you're right, Ryan, and hopefully we can, hopefully that means we'll have good weather here in a few weeks and we can get outside and we're playing in 40-degree weather instead of 20-degree weather. That would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like everything was going hunky-dory throughout this winter up until about 2 weeks ago. That's when the cold really came into play a little bit. But hey, it's no different than any other time of the year, most of the, any other season anyway.
You're right, and as everyone knows, Missouri weather, we could be playing in snow in April, so you never know.
Wanted to talk a little bit more about personnel on the team this year. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of freshmen coming in, a lot of freshman pitchers. Yep. And let's start with the pitching staff. In your estimation as of now, who do you think are going to get the majority of the innings?
We're still determining that. I mean, obviously, the one that stands out, Schaefer Hall. He's going to be one of the guys that definitely is going to get some innings, freshman-wise. And then, not to give you a token answer, but the rest of them are up for bids, and we're just eager to see these freshmen get on the mound against some competition again and see what happens. But if I had to pick, some guys, for sure right now Schaefer Hall, and then the rest, it's wide open. We'll see what happens.
And, of course, with the sophomore bunch, the majority of those guys are going to be pitching a lot this year.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Kyle Boshert's going to see some innings, obviously. Jake Kemper is going to see some innings. You got Trevor Theismann, who's going to see some more innings this year, Jeff Gradell, and we may be able to get some innings out of Shea Brady this year, so you never know.
Yeah, Shea is a guy that's been coming back from some arm trouble. Was a very highly touted player coming out of North County, a left-hander, and obviously it's just him getting strong again is really the thing that's holding him back.
Yeah, right? You're right. And Shea's kind of had to remake himself because, coming out of North County, here's a guy that's throwing mid to upper 80s, was a power guy from the left side, and now he's come to grips with this because of his arm troubles. He's not going to get there again. So he's trying to remake himself into a guy that's going to spot up and be able to use his off-speed pitches to get out. So Shea has been, we've had a lot of guys this year, Ryan, grow up, okay? And Shea Brady leads that group. I mean, Jake Kemper's grown up some. Obviously, Randazzo's always been good. Tanis and Cody Whitehead. I mean, you're talking about some guys who have really grown up. And taking some leadership roles. I'm really eager to see how they play this year.
Tell us about some of these lefties that you got. You have a ton of left-handers that came in for mound work. Gerdine Acklin is one of them. You got Taylor Arft. Yeah. Just running down the list. Steve Ferguson is another one. Mm-hmm. Jeff Gradle's actually a sophomore. Didn't play a lot last year. Correct. Schaefer Hall, who you already mentioned. Mm-hmm. Nick Lemley. Yep. I mean, it's a pretty good group of solid young left-handed pitchers, and obviously, the more talented lefties you get, the better off you're.
Yeah, you're right, and I mean, it's that whole cliche. You can never have enough left-handed pitching. That's for sure. Lemley had a pretty good fall. He's a strike thrower, kid out of Texas. He's a product of Mike Hinneman, so obviously a lot of the people out there know who Mike Hinneman is. And Lemley's going to get some innings this year. He's going to vie for some innings. Not an overpowering guy, but a strike thrower. Gerdine Acklin, freshman out of West Plains, strike thrower, has some velocity, throws downhill, has a shot to get some innings, no question. Taylor Arft, a kid who's really grown up since the first week of the year, has gotten his body in shape. This was a guy that came in, had an ankle injury, and so he was out of shape when he came in the fall. Has worked hard to get his body in shape. He's got a shot to get some innings for us, no question. And then, you mentioned the other left-handers, Gradell, Theismann, some of those guys. And, we got a shot to definitely get some productive innings out of our left-handers.
And as far as the other right-handers are concerned, we know what you got with Boschert. Yes. He's pretty much the top returning guy as far as innings is concerned from a year ago. Mm-hmm. Tell us about a guy like Zach Buxman.
Yeah, Zach Buxman, kid out of Rittner High School. He's a smaller guy, but he's got some velocity, and when his breaking ball's on, he's got a pretty good hammer. At times this fall, he was really good, and at times he wasn't so good. But you know what? That's not unique to Zach Buxman. That's just the way freshman pitchers are in the fall. So Zach Buxman, he's got a shot to get some outs for us and to get some innings, no question.
How about Matt Patterson?
Oh, Matt Patterson. This guy here is a competitor, and anybody who has played against him or played with him would back that up 100%. You're going to see a bulldog on the mound. And you know what, in all honesty, Ryan, you're going to see a lot of bulldogs this spring. I mean, we have really preached that to our guys. There's something special about this group in terms of, their mentality and the way they go about their business. They're very professional, and business-like is a bad term because you think of more stiffs and just doing your job and not really enjoying each other. These guys really enjoy each other's time, and we got some guys up there that are going to be bulldogs on the mound and bulldogs in the field. Matt Patterson really personifies that idea.
How about Lance Young and Heath Story? We know a lot about Story coming out of Kennett.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of folks remember when Kennett beat North County in the sectionals.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a shot. Big, tall right-hander who's got a lot of sink on his ball, throws in the mid to upper 80s. And once he finds some consistency on the mound, he's going to be really pretty good. He's got a shot to have some innings for us. Lance Young, good breaking ball, kid out of Cape Central. You never know with Lance. You never know with any of these freshmen if they're going to get some innings or not. But Lance comes in and he got a lot of outs this fall with that overhand breaking ball.
Another sophomore that you guys have back from last year, a guy that didn't get to see a lot of mound time, was Eric Atkins, a kid that's already committed to go to Grambling.
Yes.
And tell us about how he's going to fit in this year.
He's a guy that could either start for us potentially or come in and close or throw middle relief. Along with some of our other sophomores are kind of in the same boat as our freshmen. The first couple weeks we're going to try to figure out some roles for him, just kind of see where it fits best and then go from there. I mean, obviously we have an idea on some of them where we want them to be, but Atkins fits in that mold as well. I mean, if he comes out and shows us he can go 4 innings throwing strikes consistently, well, that guy's going to start because he's got 3 pitches that he can get over that are pretty good.
Let's talk about the catcher's position. That's a wide open spot this year. You had some sophomores from last season, so obviously you had to do a lot of recruiting there. You got looks like 4 kids that are potentially can play the catcher position.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we like having the bodies because you're playing doubleheaders all the time. And if you got one guy that goes down with an injury, and if you only have 2 catchers, well, shoot, now you got 1 catcher the rest of the way. So we like the depth because you can also put him in as a DH and possibly play him at one of the corner positions in a pinch if you had to. You got Zach Blanchard, kid out of Nixa, who's done a pretty good job for us this year. Greg Robinson, who's been battling knee injuries, had knee surgery in the offseason. Kid out of Rockwood Summit. He's got a shot to get some playing time. Zach Niesline's been battling elbow problems all year long, so we don't know what we're going to get out of Zach, to be quite honest. And then you got Brent Hodge, kid out of Sedalia Smith Cotton, who is a great competitor and has got a shot to do some great things for us and has worked very hard in the offseason.
Back to pitchers for a minute. I forgot to bring these 2 guys up, the 2 local right-handers that you recruited.
Oh, yeah.
Cody Stites and Ryan Stagner. How are they coming?
Yeah, very well. Stagner is Stagner. He's doing a good job. He's going to get some innings for us. He's going to get some outs. He's another one of those bulldogs that we've talked about. I'm sure a lot of people out there who've seen him with Coach Bone during the summer have seen that out of him. Cody Stites battled arm problems this summer, but he came back this fall. Not many people have worked harder than Cody Stites here in the offseason, and it shows in his performance on the mound right now, just in bullpens. I mean, you're talking about a big, strong right-hander who can either close or can start for us. So we don't know what role yet. I think ideally we'd like to start him because that changeup's pretty good.
When you look at the pitching staff, and obviously there's a lot of question marks because you don't have a lot of experience back.
Sure.
Kemper and Boschert were the only 2 really big innings guys that were back from last year.
You're right.
Do you kind of like all the question marks in a way because it's going to bring out a competitive nature in the majority of these kids? And on the other side, does it worry you just because of that as well? Because, a lot of these guys are stepping into kind of parts unknown in a way.
Yeah, you're right, Ron. That's a great point. That's kind of always the debate that it seems like, at least, I've had with other coaches over the last several years. Do you want that, like you said, or do you want guys who come in with a more defined role who know exactly what's going on? I think the nature of the 2-year school, you're going to have more of the, we're going to kind of have to figure out what role you're going to be, and you guys are going to be compete, and it's wide open. The problem you could get into with that, obviously, is you got guys more worried about their playing time and are they going to play versus the team's success. And I think you got to have a special group of guys to do that. And, and everyone feels good and looks great in the fall and in the winter. And, you never know until the spring rolls around. So we'll see. But these group of guys really seem to enjoy each other and no one really enjoys working hard, but I think they really know how to deal with the day-to-day grind of working hard, what we're trying to accomplish here.
Let's go back to infielders. You got some good potential guys over at third base.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got, of course, one returner back from who had a pretty good freshman season last year, Cody Whitehead.
Yeah, Cody, obviously local kid out of Festus. This kid's grown up a lot, and he's really matured. He's becoming a leader, not vocally, that's not his style, which we never have asked that from him. We've just asked him to handle his business in a more professional manner, and he has done that. This guy's done a 180. He looks really good, competes well. Cody Fick, a kid out of Fatima who's going to see some time on the mound, is going to probably see some time over third, maybe early on if Whitehead's not completely healthy with his shoulder. Whitehead's going to be fine, but maybe the first week or two with the cold weather, we may really watch what we do with him and put him more as a DH. Pete Thomas is going to be at short. Here, this guy is, if you've seen him play, this guy's pretty good. And then at second, you got Randazzo and Lyons, and the good thing about Lyons is Lyons can play short as well. And Randazzo may see some time in the outfield. So those guys have had a really good fall, and we're looking for great things out of them. And then at first base, we'll just kind of see what happens and see what bats are clicking, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, first base is obviously a position where you usually have a number of guys that can play there.
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't have to be as tough with the glove as in other positions, like you would if you're at second, short, or third. Obviously, having a good glove at first base helps.
Yeah, no question.
But you just have a guy that can really do a good job of scooping the baseball. And, of course, most first basemen also provide very good power in the lineup.
Yeah, ideally, that's what you like to have, is a guy who can swing it and then can play enough over at first, can pick it, can play the bag. First base is an underrated, maybe the most underrated defensive position out there, and we really work hard with our guys to make sure that they're proficient in being able to make some of those plays that you were talking about.
And your outfield is obviously very wide open right now because of the youth you have there as well.
Yeah, definitely. We got 4 freshmen, and then probably Randazzo's going to see some time out there, so that's 5 guys. Kendall Finley out of Mansfield, who's a converted catch, who had a great fall, really surprised a lot of people with his with the way he went about his business and got the job done. Brandon Wings, kid out of Hazelwood Central, who is coming off of arm surgery. He's had a great winter of hitting. He's getting better. Jeremy Ramon, our 35th round draft pick from the Red Sox. He's got a shot to see some time out there in right. And then Nick Becker, a kid who played with the Blazers in the past out of Vianney High School, is going to see some time out in center. So those guys have been getting after and been working hard with Coach Underwood.
And again, it kind of comes down to what you have with pitching in a way. It's going to be a real huge competitive environment in that outfield.
Yeah, it is, and not only defensively, but also, we're going to go with guys who are swinging a hot bat, try to find the right combination, and, that's what they pay the coaches for, is for us to kind of figure that out a little bit.
and also, you got so many different types of players that you got out there.
Right.
You got guys that are quick and can run, speedsters like Ramon.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that could just flat out run the baseball down.
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. That was a point of emphasis we had in recruiting last year. Is we wanted to go after athletes, and we've had people made comments about looking at our guys about how athletic we are, and yeah, we want those athletes. We want to be athletic, but obviously also got to know how to play the game a little bit and be good baseball players. But guys like Ramon, Wings, Becker, Finley, those guys can run, flat out run. We've done a lot of work with speed and conditioning. Randazzo has gotten a lot faster. Lyons is another guy that can run. Whitehead has improved his speed. So, we got some guys. Base running is a big key for us. We are really trying to be aggressive, going first to third, second to home. And you're going to see a team out there that's going to like to run and be aggressive.
Your first games, I should say, are a month away, the 22nd of February.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
You got to be excited, I guess, right?
I'll be excited when the weather warms up a little bit.
There you go.
But yeah, February 22nd is definitely circled on the calendar. We go out over to Belleville to play Swick, and we'll be ready to rock and roll, definitely.
That's always some good games, too, whenever you get those guys on the schedule. Good program over there.
Yeah, Coach Fiala does a great job out there. He gets his guys ready, and hopefully we'll be ready to go.
Also, one other thing wanted to add is that there's still time for folks to get signed up for the annual exposure camp coming up on the 11th. And how's that been coming along so far?
That's been going well. We have, we've had a good turnout thus far. Good responses. We're close to 70 participants already. Each year we have well over 100. So it's been a we've had a lot of interest with it. So we may have to give you a little bit of a kickback there, Ryan, with as many times as you've been plugging us.
Real quickly, before we let you go, give us kind of a quick synopsis of what the exposure camp's all about.
That's a good point. It's about showcasing your skills. Pitchers will come in and they're going to pitch on the mound, showcase what they can do, breaking ball, change up, fastball, velocity-wise. They're also going to get something out of it. That's a little bit something different we're going to try to do this year, is also make it have a teaching component to it. Their number one priority is to come out and showcase, but we want to teach them some things, expose them to some things that they can take home with them, whether it's, a brief talk on mechanics or a brief talk about, some physical fitness stuff that they can do, or even nutrition, or even the recruiting process. Now, are they going to get a lot out of it? Are they going to walk home with novels of information? No, of course not. That's not the nature of the camp, but we want them to come out of here with some information, hopefully that they can use to apply to become a better ball player.
So that's coming up on the 11th of February, and folks can still call 797-3000, extension 385 to get signed up and to get registered for that. And the cost, I think, is $90 to participate as a pitcher and a position player.
Yep.
And it's $65 for one?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. If you want to do one position, whether that's pitch or play a position, $65. If you want to showcase both positions, a position and as a pitcher, that'll be $90.
And again, it's for high school juniors and seniors, right?
Yeah, we're accepting sophomores and freshmen this year because we've had a lot of interest with people wanting to come in just to start the experience of going to an exposure camp.
That's good. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for all high school age kids.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no question. I mean, it's more geared towards the juniors and seniors. That's who we're going to be really watching, and the other schools will be watching. But freshmen and sophomores have expressed interest because they want to start getting the experience of camps like this.
Thanks a lot for the time, Coach, as always.
Ryan, thank you very much for all your support.
You're a month away from getting the season started, and you got 4 weeks to get it going, right?
You're right. I hope you got your mittens ready so when you announce our games out in the cold, and our camera guy, Tom, out here standing on top of the press box just freezing his rear off. I hope you guys get some warm clothing.
Yeah, nothing that a couple of plug-in space heaters couldn't help, right?
Hey, you're right about that. Just don't burn yourself.
That's right.
You don't need a fire in the press box.
We'll talk to you down the road, Coach. Thanks again.
Thanks, Ryan.
Sam Carroll, head coach of the Jefferson College baseball program. We will take a break, and we'll be back with more. This is the Jefferson College Sports Report on 1400 KJFF and on JCTV.
Great education.
Friendly atmosphere.
Beautiful campus.
The convenience and the affordability.
My experience at Jefferson College has been wonderful.
I find the quality of education here at Jefferson College to be one of a kind.
My experience at Jefferson College has been a major plus in my life and one of the best decisions I've made.
Jefferson College would be the place that I would recommend the most.
I'm Katie Williams.
I'm Kevin Higginbotham.
I'm Ann Martinson.
I'm Tony Markovich, and I'm proud I chose to attend Jefferson College.
We are back to Jefferson College in Hillsboro on 1400 KJFF and JCTV. This is the Jefferson College Sports Report, and at this time we bring in Kevin Emmerich, head coach of the women's basketball team, who continues to play very, very well in the midst of, I think it's now is it an 8-game winning streak or a 9-game winning streak?
I think we're at 9.
At 9, okay.
Yeah.
Things are going very well. You're coming off a big victory on Saturday over a nationally ranked State Fair, which puts you at 3-0 in the region. And that just had to have been a very impressive performance.
I was really proud of our kids. It was an effort that we had tried to get to that level of play for a long time defensively, and I think finally we did some things defensively against State Fair. We had a good scout on them. We knew what they like to do. They're big inside. They like to lob it into their post a lot. And we got some great backside defensive help, and our guards did a great job of ball pressure, and they just really didn't have an answer. Now, you know, they will have. They'll go back home and they're going to adjust, and it's going to be a tough game down there March 1st. But in the for now, we're 3-0 in the region, and it was a big win for us. And I think it gave our kids a lot of confidence because a lot of things, that you teach as a coach, they're progressive things, and it takes a while to get to the point where they really, really click in with the players and they really believe in what you're doing. And I think after Saturday, they believe.
Well, you did a heck of a job of rebounding in a game like that, where again you came against a larger team, size-wise, in the paint, things like that, and your defensive play in the post was absolutely tremendous.
It was, and Ryan, that was a lot due to our backside help and our guards, but a lot of credit to our post, to Dominique and Evelina and Aya. They were all in there pitching. Robin got in there and helped a lot in the post, and that was huge for us. But we just got everybody in good defensive position on the backside. We got good ball pressure on the top side. and that made all the difference in the world in the basketball game. And I think it frustrated State Fair a little bit, but they're a veteran team. They're going to get organized. They're going to come back. They're going to play good the rest of the season. And it's just one game, but it is an important game for us because, you know, you would think that would move us up in the region rankings and would move us up in the national rankings, and those things are important for postseason play. And we should stay in that position as long as we keep winning and take them one game at a time from this point on.
Well, the new rankings are going to come out tomorrow, and it should be interesting to see how it all pans out. Obviously, you're hoping to be in that top 25 again.
Absolutely.
Which is, oddly enough, you dropped out. Of course, a lot of it was because I think some scores got reported wrong and that kind of thing. But, you know, you never should have fallen out in the first place because when you got in there, I think you were 12-3, and you hadn't lost since, but you fell out because of those weird reasons.
And I think that's right. And you know, it's just a problem at NJCAA. It wasn't anything our Raider did or anything locally, but, you know, it's important to keep as many teams in the region strong as you can, because obviously it's a good, strong region. Everybody's got great records in NJCAA play this year in general, in non-conference and non-region play. And the more teams you've got in your region, the stronger it keeps your region. So it was in everybody's best interest that we had 2 or 3 teams in the rankings. And hopefully after this week, we'll have 2 teams back in there, and we'll be positioned as the #1 team in our region.
I would know. It'll be interesting for State Fair because they lost that game to Moberly on Wednesday, then the loss to Jeffco on Saturday. So 2 consecutive losses, being 15th in the country. Hopefully they'll stay in there, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know, and that'll determine, you know, a lot of how much pull our Raiders got. And both those losses were road losses, and even though one of them was fairly convincing against us, the loss at Moberly was just 5 points, and they played Moberly tough till the end. And you know, I think it sent a signal to people about how strong we can be, and not necessarily how weak State Fair was, but just how strong Jeffco can play, and that 18-3 with the schedule we've played should rate some, you know, some notice from some people nationally, and I hope at this point it does.
Well, CT and Beamer led you in scoring on Saturday, 19 and 18 apiece, but you got a solid 12 points off the bench from Aya Vixani.
Yeah, Aya came in and played really well, and Aya came in focused. She ran our offense well, and she gave us that help we talked about in the defensive end, and just played a great game. And she was one of many that contributed off the bench, but her points were big because they were right in that run in the second half when Candy hit a couple threes and we were taking the ball to the hole and attacking the basket. And Aya came in off the bench and just, you know, they just had no answer for what we were doing at that point. And she really played well. She gave us some of those in the first half. But overall, she just played a really great game.
Well, you had a 7-point lead at the half in that game. You pulled away in the second half. You ended up winning the game by 24. Down the stretch, what was the difference, you thought, in pulling away for that win?
I think that our conditioning, had a little bit to do with it. I think that our kids are fresh, and I think the weight program and the strength and conditioning program we get from James Sindler is probably keeping us a little bit ahead of the other teams we play, and having a full-time strength and conditioning coach here makes a big difference. And I think we just attacked the basket better. I mean, I just think we were just relentless in our attack offensively, and that's what we intend to be. We don't always get that, but we ran what we call the LePan Shuffle, which is an offense we put in at the beginning of the season, and we keep it for region play, and we haven't really used it all year, where we set a lot of screens, we have a lot of motion, and I think that LePan Shuffle really made a big difference in our offensive attack, and they had trouble guarding us late, and I think that made a difference in that run.
So you moved to 3-0 in the region. You got to be happy with that because you've beaten Mineral Area on the road. You beat a pretty good Crowder team and now a State Fair, a nationally ranked opponent. And I guess you can't emphasize it enough that, you know, you can't stop here. You got to keep it going. You got a good Three Rivers team coming in tomorrow night. Very good. And we talked to our players last night about, you know, we haven't done anything yet. I mean, our goals are out past where we're at right now, and it's good to be 18-3, and we want to position ourselves to be first or second in the region if we can. But that's really all we've done is just position ourselves to have a good season. It's not over yet, and we haven't accomplished anything yet. And our goals as a team are still out there for us, and they know that. But we talked about it with them last night, and they really brought it up. Coach, we're not done yet. This isn't where we want to be. And they know Three Rivers stands in the way, and they know Three Rivers is probably every bit as good or better than the teams we've been beating. And Three Rivers has not been playing well. And when you got a team on a 9-game winning streak coming in against a team that's not playing well, that's a recipe for disaster if you don't take the game seriously. And I think our kids respect Jack
and his program at Three Rivers, and they know it's going to be a tough game tomorrow night.
And they have some good athletes over there. They have some size. They have some good guard play. They're a well-stacked team.
They're tremendous. Athletically, they're a good team, and I don't know why they've not been playing well, but we don't really pay much attention to that. We know the game we had with them early in the season was a 5 or 6 point game all the way until we made some free throws down the stretch. And that's the team we remember, and I know they're strong and they're well coached, and they'll come in here needing to win, and they're a very, very good basketball team, and we're approaching the game that way.
What's the best way to attack them, do you think?
Well, we think they're going to play some zone, and we think they're going to press us. Now, they may not, but if they play some zone and if they do press us, I think that we just need to be aggressive with the basketball. We have a press offense or two ready for the zone that they put in, and we think we have some half-court offenses that are going to make it tough for them to run that zone against us, either place full or half. But you've got to attack their zone, and you've got to get past that first line. And if you don't penetrate that first line of defense with Three Rivers, they're going to push you out and make it tough on you.
Well, that's the kind of things that they've done for years over there, and they've been very successful.
They have been.
After that, you got a game coming up on Monday, Washington University's JV team. Now, I know that this game got on the schedule years ago when Coach Rhodes was running things out here, and there was a reason why he wanted them on the schedule, mainly because they're a D3 school, but WashU is probably one of the most impressive academic institutions in the Midwest, and you have smart players that you're going up against whenever you play that team.
Yeah, I've known about WashU for a long time, everywhere I've been since I was at Wisconsin Platteville in Division III, and they were one of the top-ranked teams in Division III in the nation, and their top kids are Division I talent. They just choose to go to a private school, and WashU is a great place. It's a great institution, very academically oriented, but they have great athletics too. And we don't know much about their JV team, and we're certainly going to try to prepare for them on Monday. And I talked to the coach a couple days ago, and they're down to 6 or 7 players on the JV team, which is a typical situation late season. And that game, we're just going to go in and play hard and see what happens. It's not a region game. It's not a conference game. But we expect that'll be a tough game, and we expect their athletes will be good players, and they're definitely, like you said, be smart players.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't want to look ahead of what you got coming up tomorrow in Three Rivers. And then again, that's not non-region game, but you don't want to take it lightly either.
Oh, definitely not. And a win's a win, and a loss is a loss. And if you get beat by WashU, it hurts you. And we intend to win that basketball game on Monday night. And we're going to use Saturday and Sunday and that game against WashU and the pregame on Tuesday to get ready for our last home region game here for a while against Mineral Area. And so we're going to be very focused on that game Monday night. There's going to be some things we want to do. We want to build some momentum into that Mineral game. And that's for sure what that WashU game is going to be for.
And again, you don't want to burn yourself out with Mineral 2 days later, too.
Absolutely not, and that's our focus. And it's not that we're taking WashU lightly at all, but we have big goals in mind for this year. And these region and conference games are important, and every game has its place, and that's what we're going to use that game for.
Health-wise, everything working okay with the team right now?
I think so. We've got 2 or 3 girls with a bad back that have had a bad back and have been working on that for a couple, 3 months now, and everybody seems to be healthy. We got a lot of help from our AD. We had a type of masseuse come in and give Robin and CT and Net some back treatment the other day before the game, and Robin came out feeling better than she ever did. And Joellen helped us set that up, and we really appreciate that. I think it helped our kids play against State Fair. So it's a chronic problem, but there are no acute injuries, nothing any different than we've had, and they're playing through and getting treatment every day for those injuries, and they seem to be getting through and playing well.
I know that you're always out scouting. You're always looking for talent because obviously, come later on this spring is going to be your signing period. And is there anything you can tell us about that right now, or is that all kind of has to be hush-hush for now?
No, it doesn't have to be hush-hush. I mean, we're on the road, and we've been to St. Louis, and we've been in Jeff County looking at most of the teams in the area, and there are a number of good players in this area, both in the county and in St. Louis County and in West County as well. So we've been in all those places looking at kids. We've got a number of kids from out of the area that we've been talking to. A couple of Division I schools are trying to place players with us. And in fact, we're going to go see another one of those this Thursday night in Indianapolis that is a Division I talented kid who's probably not going to make grades. Good student, just not going to quite make grades on to be a qualifier coming out of high school, so we're glad to have a shot at her. So we're trying to do it from the area first, and if we can't find what we need here, we'll work our way out, and that seems to be working so far.
And something that, of course, you don't want to think too much about it because you got a season going right now, but you're going to need some good guards next year too. I mean, you got a lot of sophomores that are going to be moving on.
We really do, and even though we don't talk about it a lot, we work on it every day. I mean, we started recruiting back in November, and we'll be in that process probably until August, until our roster is full. And you don't replace players like we've got at this talent level without working at it hard, because there's a lot of competition out there for players. What we've got here, though, that I think helps us in that regard is we've got great support in admissions. We've got great support in our academic success program. We've got great administrative support. We've got one of the best faculties in the country, and we've got good money and good scholarship money to help us bring kids in and help them be academically successful while they're getting to play basketball at a really high level. And I think all those things at Jeffco help us be in position to have an advantage over each recruit we talk to. Now, we're not going to get everybody we talk to, but if you're not losing a few, you're probably not talking to the right kids. So we'll miss on some, but we don't miss because it's not a good enough school, or we don't think we have a good enough program. Sometimes you miss because geographically you're not right, or maybe there's not a good academic fit for a student athlete to move on. So we're really working hard on it, Ryan, and I think the people next year are going to be happy with the group we bring in.
That's going to be a big one too, because that'll be kind of your first real recruiting class.
It will be.
I mean, what you got right now is obviously very nice, but you had to do it in a short amount of time to get ready for this season. Now you've had the full year, you've had the full go-through. So next year will probably kind of be considered more of your real recruiting class.
We sure will. It'll be our first year is what we call it. It'll really be our first year next year. And some of the sophomores we had and some of the things that were in place when we came in here allowed us to go into a pretty solid situation. Even though we had to bring 6 or 8 kids in, we were pretty solid with the kids we had. And they've really helped solidify this program and move it on from Gary to us and keep it stable and keep Jeffco winning. And we'll give a lot of credit to our sophomores this year, and we're certainly going to miss them when they're gone.
And unfortunately, you had a couple of sophomores that came in that are only going to be able to play for 1 year. They weren't here as freshmen. CT, Robin Stone. It's going to be kind of tough to only have those kids for 1 year.
It really is. And, I've told you before, we say back in October, November, we said, you're not gone yet, and we already missed you, because we really knew that we were going to miss this class, and kind of knew they had a chance to do something special if we could get things together and organize ourselves a little bit. And I think we've done that, and I think they're looking forward to doing something special before they get out of here. So we'll see how the next month and a half goes.
Coach, thanks again as always. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Ryan.
And again, Kevin Emmerich, the head coach at the Jefferson College women's basketball program, now 18-3 on the year. They'll take on Three Rivers, which will be tomorrow night right here on 1400 KJFF and on JCTV. And this has been the Jefferson College Sports Report here from the Jeffco Fieldhouse on KJF and JCTV.
Exceptional education.
Spectacular experience.
The personalization.
It was convenient.
It's a fun atmosphere.
And my personal experience here has just been wonderful.
It just opened up a whole new horizon for our family.
Arnold, High Ridge, and the Hillsborough campus has been very convenient.
I recommend Jefferson College every day to anyone who will ask.
I'm Russ Hilton.
I'm Jane.
I'm Brandon Berger.
I'm Liz Lando, and I'm proud I chose to attend Jefferson College.